Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I will be playing in what I believe to be the 3 best tier 10 heavies to currently grind in the game. There are a lot of heavies, and a lot of them are quite fantastic. I was tempted to put the Rhino in today's video. I was really tempted to put the 60 TP in. The Type 71 is amazing, even the M6 Show. There are so many tanks right now that are absolutely fantastic that I wanted to include in today's video for the top 3. But after some thought processing and overall tank's capabilities and what I think are going to be the best on the battlefield in the current meta, the first tier 10 we're going to be talking about is the T110E5, the American Tech Tree Heavy. Now this vehicle was not changed at all in the latest update, which is good because it was a fantastic tank and still is. What does the E5 have going for it? First of all, it has double sandbags, which I'm running on it at least, which gives me a whopping 2,600 HP. It also features pretty good DPM, base of 2,600, which is very solid. It's not crazy levels of DPM, like obviously in IS-4 you can get upwards of almost 3,000, but the advantage the E5 has over a vehicle like the IS-4 or the 113 with their higher levels of DPM is that this tank has flexibility. It has 8 degrees of gun depression, an incredibly well-armored turret. I would say the E5 turret is just as strong as a Concept 1B's. And when you pair that with solid mobility reaching a top speed upwards of 44, 42 kilometers per hour, a great power to weight ratio, and even decent armor on flat ground, and the E5 starts to come into play. Plus, the big advantage this tank has over an IS-4 and a 113 is the accuracy. This tank has 0.3 base dispersion and fantastic levels of aiming time, which you will not find on a vehicle like the 113, for example. So, big advantages there. Now, our BZ-75 is... oh, man, I don't like this at all. This is not looking good for at least the start of this game here. But we'll see what we can do. But, yeah, the E5 really just kind of has everything going for it. It's the jack of all trades when it comes to heavies. And that's exactly what you want when it comes to a solid vehicle to play. Reliability. And this tank has reliability. Now, we can see something shot at me. I don't know exactly what it was, but something did shoot at me because little structure there was broken. But doesn't matter to me. We are going to make our way across. We see that 113, and as much as I think stopping, I could have gotten a free shot into him, crossing and getting all the way on the wide corner here is the most important play, because I'm going to be fighting people on this wide corner. So we have the 121, and we're going to load in a heat shell. There you go. Easy shot right into the 121. I honestly don't even know if the 121 is going to be able to counter me at all, because this is where the E5 really just comes into an element of its own. 121 pokes again, and shows me a side armor. We get a 420 damage shot. Just like that, I've already taken off a rather substantial chunk of his HP. So now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to push wide, and we're going to push him off, because this is where the tank just feels great again. So this 121 is probably thinking, gee, I'm screwed. And you're right, you are 100% screwed here. We get another shell into his tank, 487, he's done, and there you go. Out of the game he goes. We have the Sheridan all the way in the back, who I thought he was going to keep moving forwards. He didn't. That sucks. Let's see. Sheridan's obviously going to... well, I was going to say run. But Sheridan's really big-braining me by literally not doing anything. I thought that the Sheridan was just going to run away or do something, but he just... he didn't. He just sat there the whole time. Alright, let's reload. Hopefully the 113 doesn't shoot me, which he doesn't, which means we don't bleed any health and we get the easy clear into his tank. We can see where the great capabilities of this vehicle just come on through. Because, you know, normally when you drive a tier 10, especially one that is, you know, a heavy like this, you always got to be worried about something. But this tank has nothing to worry about. I mean, with the DPM, with the holding potential, with the armor, it's just so nice. I mean, we got the 4005 in the back. We're going to get a nice HE of 515 max roll. The HE on this tank does slightly more than the standard, so it is a bit of a benefit to load HE on a vehicle like the 4005. And let's see. I guess I might be able to... no. Yeah, hatching a Kron is literally just like a toss-up. That's the problem with it. So this Kron, honestly, at this point, I really don't care if he shoots me. We have easy shots into his tank. He gets shot by the BZ. Now he's getting shot by the 140. Let's give him a little love tap for 158. And we reload again. We get another nice shell, 350. Ooh, that was a bad roll. But I would expect our BZ to maybe get the clear. Yes, he does. Okay. We got the Projet Luis, and apart from that, not much else. I mean, 4005 reverses at like 2, so he's dead. See ya. We can see that great accuracy as well from this vehicle. And with that, it's me versus the enemy team. Well, we have the Sheridan, and yes, beautiful. Sheridan is down, and that leaves the BZ-68 and the Luis. Okay, well, let's reload, and we're going to see if we can get some damage into the Luis. Let's move on up. Where did the BZ go? I mean, we're full health, so I'm not really worried here at all. There's the Luis, but I don't care about that player. I am going to care more. Actually, you know what? I do care about this player. We're going to shoot him. The reason why is this BZ isn't really a threat right now. The Luis is. I don't want this player to get away from anything, so let's shoot him once. Okay, let's bounce that, I guess, bruh. Again, I'm not worried about this BZ. Bounces me. It's this Luis that needs to die, so we're going to load in an HE. 480 damage, and let's repair our fuel tank just because I don't want it to be broken. But this Luis threw the game because now all that's left is a BZ. And while the BZ does pen me, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to back on up here, and we're going to load a gold shell straight into his turret cheek. So there you go. Easy clear. That's the E5, and that's why the E5 is such a fantastic heavy. The gun is great. The DPM is fantastic. The armor, the mobility, everything about this heavy feels amazing. And with those flexibilities and capabilities, we did over 5,000 damage. We aced the tank, netted ourselves 288,000 credits, and yeah, I mean, what else do I need to say? It's a great tank, and everything about it just comes online when you're playing it. So I can tell you for a fact, if you want to have fun, if you want to play a great tank, play the E5. Next up, we arrive to the Tier 10 Swedish heavy, being the Kranvagn. This is a vehicle that I think is entirely overpowered after the latest changes, because the Kran actually features the same DPM as an E5, but also has 2 extra shells in the clip. Now, it does have disadvantages. It's obviously quite a bit slower, only going 34 instead of 44, but it does feature super speed boost, which can boost it up to 38, and the reverse speed on this tank is quite insane at 18 base with super speed boost, so you can get that thing up to 26 kilometers per hour in reverse. So yeah, the Kran as well is kind of insane, and in the latest update, Wargaming changed its intro clip from 3 seconds to 2.7. The Kran features a 5.4 second total dumping time. And with its 410 damage per shot, that means you are able to deal a whopping 1,230 damage in just 5.4 seconds. I mean, that's crazy. Now, there was a nerf to the Kran when it comes to the penetration. It only has 350 mils of heat. But honestly, I don't really see that as a problem. The most armored opponent we have up against us this game is a mouse, and I just don't really see where we're going to struggle to cut through that mouse's frontal protection. The Kran is also faster than you'd think. Like, while its top speed is only 34, it has a good enough power to weight that you usually chill at around the top speed, and especially with the super speed boost that it does feature, it's not as big of a problem as you might think it is. So we have our T100 who's on top of the ridge, and we are just going to go low and see if we can catch any of these players off guard. 5041 really doesn't scare me all too much. The 183 is a big old threat, but we'll see. We will see. Right now, I'm not spotted, and 5041's right in front of me, so I'm just going to move up, and I'm going to get 1 shell into the 5041. And we reload. Again, this tank has most effective DPM on single shot. But I also see that there's a tortoise on me, so I'm just going to bleed some health, simply to get this player knocked out. So I bled about 1,100-ish health, but you know what? It's going to suck a lot more for you, buddy. Your game is already over, and you don't even know it yet. So we're going to aim in right on this tortoise with a heat shell. Easy shot, 438, and we back up, not allowing him to get a shell on us. Bye-bye. I'm not sure why. Oh, they're in platoon. That's why. I was going to say I'm not sure why these two players went alone to one side of the map and expected it to go well, and then I realized they were both in platoon. That makes a bit more sense. So what are we going to do here? Well, we see that they have a Kran all the way on the wide, and I'm going to stick with our VK90 for now, because we can see where the vast majority of my team is. I don't know how our T100's dead already. Not sure why that player decided to go alone, but obviously did not go well, especially as a hated player. It's not a bad player, just I don't get why you'd make that play, to be entirely honest. We have the 183 in the back, not able to hit that. We got the Jagdpanzer, not able to hit that. They're just going to be rats, so I'm not going to waste my time. on those players. I mean, maybe I will, depending on what we exactly see. We have a mouse, and yeah, this is a little cringe, not gonna lie. The mouse is full health. Can't really do much to counter that. We got the 114, and that player is going to be a bit of a threat. Oh, no. I don't like this at all. We got the Kron right in front of us, little Rattler. Of course, that misses. Oh, this is really cringe, actually. This is about as cringe of a matchup as you can get right now. We have the 114 on the side, and I'm just going to have to shoot it. I obviously lose a lot of DPM when I do that, but at the same time, bleeding out a player versus not bleeding out a player, I think I'll choose the latter. So, yeah. Let's see. 114 is going to continue backing up, and I'm going to get another nice shell out for 400, and that player's gone. Okay, well now we have the mouse, we have the Kron, and we have the Jagdpanzer. And then one other tank being the 183. Well, our VK90 is definitely in a bit of an awkward spot, but we're good. We're just going to reload. We have the mouse, and this is where I'm going to try and get the most effective DPM I can in this tank. I mean, obviously with that mouse over here, should be a pretty easy just clip into his tank, so let's see. The VK is obviously going to try and get some damage out, and we are reloading, and there's one pen into the mouse, 2 pens into the mouse, and 3. That is where the Kron just does so well. Like, this game, for example, was not an entirely good battle. We actually did pretty mid, to be entirely honest. But at the end of the day, the Kron did everything it needed to. We got out an easy 3,600, actually 3,700. We bled our opponents, and we pushed. I mean, early game, I used my HP to clear the 54E1 and Tortoise, because I knew that if I didn't, I wasn't going to get too much damage out. But just alone into that Tortoise and 54E1, I was able to deal around 1,200. And then we got some nice bleeds out to the rest of the enemy team, and that mouse alone gave us a big old juicer, 1,294. We can see why I really like the Kron, though. A lot of people think that this tank only does well when using its gun depression, but I don't agree with that. I think if you use the auto-reloader properly, you can get out some really easy farms, some super solid games. I mean, my Kron has over a 77% win rate, close to 3,500 average damage for over 1,000 battles. It's wild what you're able to do in the tank. And that brings us to the final vehicle for today's video, the Tier 10 autoloading Czechoslovakian Heavy, the VZ55. This is a tank that was massively changed in the latest update from recording. The vehicle now features a double-shot gun, which allows you to deal 460 damage 2 times in 4 seconds. So if you add that together, that is 920 potential damage. That's a lot of damage. It's the same as an M6 Yo. The advantage of this vehicle over something like a Yo is that it has much better armor. The upper plate, the turret is so good for holding. Now that's not to say the VZ is an entirely overpowered tank. It has many downsides, which people forget to mention. The lower plate is very weak, and the sides are not the strongest either, especially if you try to side scrape. The track wheels are pretty poor, and the reverse speed of 13 makes it pretty tricky in some games. However, the advantages of this tank are also very nice. The fact that this vehicle just has so much damage output, 2,700 DPM, great levels of penetration, and in my opinion, looks fantastic, kind of make up for some of the downsides it does feature. So let's see just what we can do. I'm going to ping up the bridge, and hopefully our team has a couple brain cells. Our grill doesn't, driving into literally every player. Oh my god. What am I looking at, bro? Alright, well, either way, let's make our way over towards the heavy flank. Or, actually, I guess this is just the flank. It's not a medium flank, it's not a heavy flank, it's just the most important flank to push in the map. So, we have the E4 in the back, and I'm hoping the E4 doesn't shoot me. We have the STB, and let's aim in on his tank. Aiming. Oh my god, STB, what are we doing? That was such an easy shell, and unfortunately, the STB pushed me, which caused the shell to end up missing. Oh well. Teammates at the end of the day are going to cause you immense pain and suffering. We can see that the mouse is in the back. I'm not going to focus the mouse right now. We are going to focus this E4. We are going to focus players that are very important to clear right now. So, for example, this E4, dangerous tank, right? 640 damage. But I don't care, because I have a double shotgun. So he takes 627 off me, and in return, you dead. Like, I won that big time, bruh. And this is where I don't mind trading. because I know that I'll win the trade. I won that trade massively. Not even a single doubt in my mind that that E4 was going to come out on top there. So we have the mouse, we have the VK90, and we know that the 183... Oh, boy. Well, we love 183s. Nice 575 into his tank, and... well, let's aim it on the 183 again. 450. Wow, that was truly an amazing play from that player. He really got me good. Well, the VK, I'm not really sure what his play is. I don't want to be hatched. I also don't want to be shot in the lower plate. So I'm just going to do this, which is kind of putting this VK in a real awkward position. However, he does go right through my armor. We'll get one shell into the VK in return, and 2 shells. Nice. Okay, and then we back on up. I don't love... you can see the side armor being terrible. Where's my support, though, team? That's my question right now. Where's my support? I have literally multiple tanks surrounding me, and none of them are helping me, which kind of sucks. Well, let's see. VK, and there you go. Another nice shot into his tank. The VK does not have the gun depression. Messes up the shot. We get a second shell into him. Yeah, you don't feel so strong anymore, do you, big boy? You really thought that you were going to get away with those plays. Well, you didn't. I hate to break it to you. All that's left is a Chieftain who's all the way in the back. Chieftain gets shot, and honestly, at this point, I'm just going to go for the 268. I don't think there's anything I can do. Or not the 268, the XM. There's just nothing I can do to that player, and I know that the XM's alone, so I'm kind of hoping that I can just push him. We can see the mobility here, by the way. This is a pretty fast tank, as I did mention. Like, you will not have to worry about just getting into position or anything like that with this tank. So let's aim it on the XM lower plate. 448, and we reload one more time. We load in an HE. Well, it's 19, but I thought that we weren't going to get any more out because the C4 is going to shoot him, so yeah, pretty good stuff. This is the VZ, and it's why the VZ is so good. Every time that VK90 shot me, I hit him back twice. And you can see that the premium pen on this vehicle does not struggle, does not care. It's over 340 millimeters of pen. So, yeah, there you go. 4,600 damage dealt. Not too much to struggle, and that's the pen, 346. So, out of the 3 heavies that I have showcased today, I can't really say which one in specific is the best. The VZ overall is just an amazing tank because it has high DPM, great armor, solid gun depression, and mobility. And that means there's not a lot of situations where you really feel caught in this tank. But I could also say that same argument for the E5. This tank has more hit points due to sandbags, it has more penetration, it has better accuracy, and it has a fantastic armor profile, more gun depression. So this tank also feels great. And then you have the Kranvagn, which has much worse pen, but in return has really good armor, solid mobility, and a 3-shell auto-reloading clip, which gives you great DPM and overall capabilities. Each one of these tanks has their own strengths, their own capabilities, and it's really up to you whether you think that you should play in the Kranvagn, the VZ, or the E5. I am just the person telling you that these are 3 tanks I would highly recommend to get your hands on. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!